How's it going, peeps? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Table Talk podcast. We are so happy you're joining us for the first time or a returning customer because we're good.
I think this would be the official start of the new season.
I don't know. I mean,
we have been releasing new podcasts, but I think this is the first time we're calling it out because I think the last two was we so happened to have very special guests on very special days. But let's do it properly. This is the new season of Table Talk podcast. We shortened up the name, switched it up, and man, just to answer you guys who have been asking, are we uploading YouTube videos anymore? There's a reason why we're not doing that yet. Because we're saving the visuals, guys. When you do see the videos, we have a brand spanking new set.
Which is actually
spanking new brand set.
The brand new episode is out today. If I'm not wrong, it is out today.
So tune in and see the beautiful glory.
These guys are putting so much work.
Which
but
is the set.
You know what, guys? It's a brand new week, and I know you guys want to sink your teeth into something specially scrumptious. And we were thinking, you know, what else? What better way to kick off a brand new week, brand new discussion, than to look inwards and think about
yourself.
Yourself. Not so much on the self-centered sort of spectrum, but I'm thinking more of how can we talk to you about something that matters to both you and us as listeners and as people.
So recently we were in Singapore. Shout out to our friends Cesare and Shaza. We were streaming e-games. Good Lord in heaven.
Streaming e-games. We were just streaming games.
We were streaming games online. We were doing the e-games. And they gave us a chance to do a quote-unquote masterclass.
It's a big word, man.
It's a very big word because you have to be masters of something, which we are far from. But hey, shout out, love, all the love in the world. We chanced upon a certain topic that MingY definitely hooked onto. Would you like to share a bit more about this topic?
I would say this has become my operandi, my modus operandi in life.
MO.
It's something I quite strongly feel about and live by today. Let's set some context and pretext for everyone who's listening. I feel like, you know, in 2019 or whenever you're listening to this, it could be 2020, 2021, whatever it is, there is a constant demand for people to get better, right? Which is great. I think everyone is improving as they are in life, but there's a call out by some people who are asking you to, you know, sharpen your unsharp.
Basically, fix your everything, lah.
They want you to be perfect.
Okay, right? Today we are going to be talking about strengths versus weaknesses.
That's right.
Okay,
we're talking about strengths versus weaknesses.
That's where MingY is coming from.
Sorry, I want to set it up so bad, but it was so bad the way I set it up.
It was really bad, but hey. That's why everyone got their own strength and their own weaknesses.
Correct. Okay, let me put this in a better way. Okay, I got this.
Right.
When the world is asking you to get better at your weaknesses, say shut up, fools.
Okay.
And focus on your strengths.
Okay. That's a great way to approach it.
That's the
might not be the way everyone approaches it.
That's the
prologue. But still one of the ways. I think in a world these days, especially, I think what brought up this for MingY is MingY gets triggered by a lot of the inspirational videos online.
I do get triggered very
especially
easily.
the hustle. They call it hashtag hustle porn.
Oh, is that what they call it?
Yeah, it is a legitimate thing for all these millennial entrepreneurs nowadays who feel like need to hustle every day. So there's always something to work on. There's always something to do. And part of this is working on all your weaknesses.
Okay.
So that leads us to the question today. Strength versus weakness. Is it better to focus on your strengths or is it better to focus
on your weakness?
On strengthening your weakness.
Yeah, you see, even that sounds counterproductive, man.
Right. And I love the fact that we actually came up this in the context of esports. Because a very big game that we play that really has to do with this is Dota. And Dota is really all about strengths and weakness.
And teamwork.
Because there is no hero that is strong with everything and there is no hero with no weakness. All right.
Before we jump into that, this episode is sponsored to you by
absolutely nobody.
Have a sponsor.
We have no one. Shout out to all the brands. If you're a coffee brand,
it's time to shine, man.
That would be great.
Link up, bruh.
We need some energies, but you know, coffee first.
Before we jump into the topic, I think it's important to highlight what strengths and weaknesses are.
Okay, what strengths?
Things that you're good at?
And that's a really easy way to put
Right.
it. What about weakness?
Things that you're not so good at.
Was there any other definition?
No, I just wanted to highlight it.
Oh my gosh.
But
that's great. That's
yeah.
great. We know where we're coming from now.
Okay, so now that we all have a very strong grasp of the obvious, what are some of your strengths, Mingan? Skill-wise and personality-wise. I think some people have, or they evaluate strength based on skills, but it's also highly dependent on who you are as a person and individual, right?
That's true.
Name me 3 of your strengths.
I think one of my strengths would be the fact that I have a very high stress tolerance.
I mean,
when it comes to work, mentally and physically.
Physically, you're
yeah,
doing
but
so
the thing
well
is, I'm not doing so well.
Okay.
So apparently, my stress tolerance is only mentally and emotionally, and that became a weakness because my physical stress tolerance took a really bad beating.
Yep.
In that, but hey, 2 sides of the coin.
2 sides of the coin. Second one.
Another good strength I would say a good strength of mine is I'm not picky.
Okay.
Which also means I would eat anything.
Okay, so when it comes to food.
I would definitely survive at the end of the world.
Let's do 2 weaknesses.
I would chew on a rock if I had to. Okay, 2 weaknesses. I would chew on a rock. I might die. So not being picky. Actually, no. I would say my weakness, a physical weakness is I have allergies and asthma. That's a real bad weakness.
I feel like that one you cannot control.
I can't control, but that is a weakness.
Okay, second.
I cannot multitask.
Okay, that's a good point.
That's a really
it's
bad
true.
weakness.
Okay.
It's really bad. I'm tunnel vision most of my life.
But okay, that's also a strength, I think.
Let's start with 2 of your weaknesses.
2 of my weaknesses, I am very picky. I'm a very, very picky person. I am absolutely, pick things apart.
If the world would end, MingY might die first. I'm just saying.
So that's one weakness. Second weakness is I think I'm a very sensitive person.
Okay, why is this a weakness?
I think it's sometimes
sensitive inward. Right, because you're a sensitive person to other people.
Oh,
that's a very good strength.
That one. But it's also sometimes I think it obstructs my ability to function properly or objectively. However you want to see it.
Maybe?
Overthinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Positives, I'm great at
pretty much life. Everything.
I'm great at making conversation. I think it's a very, very good strength. And besides that, I'm also quite the optimistic person.
Really?
People have actually no. I can't say I'm optimistic.
I was gonna double take on that right away. I think I'm the optimist, not
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I am. I know how to take things easy, real well.
For yourself.
For myself.
That is a strength.
So even on that point, I think you could see how Ming and I both have very different strengths and weaknesses. And some of you right now in the car, if you could pause this podcast. Or wherever you are, just pause it and think for yourself and ask yourself, what are some of my strengths and weaknesses? Right? Because I think it's a very key exercise that we can do going into the rest of this podcast.
Right. I think, working on strengths versus working on weaknesses. I think this usually comes up in the workplace.
Yeah.
But to dial it back a bit, my first encounter with this was during studying for secondary school exams. It might not seem that obvious, right? But let me walk you through it.
I knew more of like a, because like secondary school is just like about you. Why?
No, this is why.
Okay.
We have limited time towards the exams. Let's say we got 2 weeks left to the final papers, right?
Yeah.
We have to divide our time studying for papers.
Yes.
Would I study better for the subjects that I'm already good at, or invest more time in the subjects I'm not, and potentially risk a grade in the subjects that I'm really good at? That was my first encounter with this dilemma.
Okay.
So I had a very big choice. I'm pretty good at math, but I'm not great. I suck at history. Would I sacrifice my time for history to insert more coins into my math?
That's a very good sort of gauge of what kind of people we are.
Yeah. And then now this is just amplified into the workplace because when you want to even be in a group assignment or even in college before work, people would always kind of like, are you good at presenting? Are you good at writing? Are you good at research? Right? Everyone would always ask for your strengths. But
that's true.
Now when you're on your own in self-improvement time, which would you put your coins in?
Correct. In your free time, right?
In your free,
how would you choose to self-improve?
Or would you just don't self-improve and just relax?
I think when it comes to this conversation or this topic of discussion, one thing that gets thrown around, or at least the phrase that gets thrown around a lot, is, the whole jack of all trades, master of none.
Ooh.
And as fancy as it sounds, being a jack of all trades, it's actually not that great of a thing.
You're great in the early game and mid game, maybe.
Yeah,
but late
game, people are surpassing you left, right, and center, dude.
Yeah, sorry, we need to explain that a bit.
Yeah.
Those are terms for the game of Dota.
Or
or you could pretty much call it life.
Or life.
When you're a jack of all trades, wow, you hit the ground running.
Yeah, you know a lot of things.
You can do anything you want in life.
Yeah.
But when you fail to specialize towards the long term, you will find that people with devoted skill sets really take off at the end of it.
And I think this is such a good, it's a very good thing to have in mind, especially when it comes to career.
Yeah.
When it comes to specializing, and even in hobbies, right?
Right.
Like if you look at all the people who are successful, they are, because it's basically them focusing on one craft.
Again and again and again.
Instead of kind of diversifying a lot, which is a bit of a dilemma for a lot of us youngsters nowadays.
Right.
Because I think we're so caught up in trying everything, which isn't a bad thing. I think everyone should try everything.
It's not. It's not a bad thing. But when it overwhelms you, I think the best example is when it overwhelms you in terms of following trends, especially for people in the social media scene. Like you want to always do what is in trend. For example, like if you're content creators, there's nothing wrong, but it can be very distracting.
It does.
Like let's say if you're storytellers like us, and suddenly the trend shifts to parody videos, or the trend shifts to like music videos, or the trend shifts to like documentary or list type videos. Let's just be honest, you can't be strong at all. You got to dabble in it, right? For trend. But then you also find yourself spreading your focus between things that you might not really be good at. And not, like you said, doing the one thing again and again and again. Back to your question of like working on your weakness. What is your stand on that? Because this was something when you brought up.
I think when it comes to working on weakness, there isn't, it's not a bad thing. Like inherently, it's a very good, it's a good way to improve yourself. And I think we're all about self-improvement, right?
Right.
The only thing about focusing too much on your weakness is that, number one, no matter how hard you try, there's still going to be someone better than you. Right? Because
that's true.
I believe that we are naturally gifted in certain areas of life.
Right.
No one is perfect, and I think that sets the stage of why we're having this discussion. And I feel like the more time you spend on trying to fix a weakness or improve that weakness, you're taking away time that you could be spent on sharpening the things that you're already good at. Which, in the grand scale of things, when you do become quote unquote perfect, right? It eliminates the need for teamwork. It eliminates the space for other people to come and join you, right? So I have this illustration in mind. If you want to be good at everything, you're planning to, just do it just because you can. You go wide. But if you want to go far, that's when you're good at one thing or a few things. Right?
Maybe it'll be practical. Like, okay, an example of an unhealthy weakness manager is someone who micromanages.
Okay.
Right? So a micromanager will try to put their hands into everything, right?
Okay.
Like to try and control every facet of a project or a work or something they are trying to do, an asset maybe. And what happens is, because they're so control-minded, and obviously ego is in the way, you might be hindering people who actually are better at a certain role.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's an extreme of someone who has not accepted a weakness, or will not take it as a weakness and just like, you know what, I can do this too. Let me do this. Let me do this. A micromanager. Another extreme of a strength of another extreme of someone who just focuses on strengths is someone who's probably egoistical, like who believes that as long as they're good at one thing, that's fine. As long as you know what, doesn't matter. I have this. You would find these people in maybe businesses. Like if a business is crashing into the floor and they will just stick to their strengths. That's another extreme version of it. So I'm just making two extremes here, and then we're going to go into it. The problem with any of these facets, if you take it too literally, like if you believe all on your strengths or all on your weakness, believe in fixing your weaknesses, is that you're right. you tend to suddenly isolate yourself to think that, you know what, this life is a one-man journey. Yeah. I think the danger of like being too fixed into fixing your weakness, because would be like a best case scenario. What if you do fix all your weaknesses?
Yeah.
What happens then? Are you the perfect being?
You would be, but you still face the same limitations as every other person.
You're
time.
You're one person. Yeah. Everyone is a 24-hour being.
Yeah.
And what if, you can't fix all your weaknesses?
Yeah.
Then what? I think a big factor to point out in this is when people do focus on strengths or weaknesses, they are mostly thinking about it as an individual, other than a team effort or something as a collective. There will be more of an advantage or a value if you identify your strengths and weakness and know how to complement someone else.
Correct.
With a strength or weakness.
And that's essentially good teamwork, which you cannot run from in life, especially in the workplace when you're constantly working with other people with you. And I just remember what the saying was: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot of truth in it, because there are only so many things that we can accomplish alone before we start to realize that, this could probably be done better with someone else.
I think,
right?
But it would be a natural. I mean, like we've been doing this. I think we've had the ability to do this work, to figure out this work on our own. But what we really figured out is it works better as a team.
It really does.
You cannot do everything on your own.
Yeah.
And a lot of our friends who are like solo, lone wolves, are slowly figuring that out as well.
Yeah.
You can't do this on your own.
And it's a conversation we have with them, and we're asking how's work, how's life, and they're like, man,
why am I so burnt out?
Why am I doing this alone? And we're like, why are you doing this alone?
Yeah. Then they ask, like, actually, why you all have it's so nice, must be nice having a team. I'm like, you can have it too.
Yeah.
Why aren't you having a team?
Sure. I mean, okay, given there are some jobs and occupations that is more that you work alone more than with a team.
True.
But that said, you don't always have to do it alone.
You don't.
I think there is. I really believe that there is strength in numbers. I believe that there is a certain synergy and dynamic that takes place when you are working with people. And if you don't allow yourself to, I think there's also this thing that if you don't want to address or recognize your weaknesses, that's gonna also stop your improvement, right?
Let's. How about this? How about some healthy steps to tackle this strength versus weakness problem?
Yeah.
Right. Right out the bat, because we started with the horror, like the hustle porn stuff online. Number one, always take things into context when you're watching some inspirational stuff.
Yeah.
I think the danger when it comes to focus on your strengths or repair your weakness is like, you gotta realize that you can't take a lot of things as is.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone does not have the same strengths.
That's right.
Everyone does not have the same weakness.
Yeah.
Please don't try and do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, jack of all trades. It's cool.
Yeah, good job, man.
I mean, it's always great to know more, but I always believe that you are always going to be sought after for a certain skill that you have, right? And no one really, unless you are a Swiss knife, no one really looks for no one identifies someone like, you can do everything. Let's get you. It'll be more of like, MingY's really good at this, or like, MingY's really good at this, or like Jemson's really good at this, Caleb's really good at this. Let's find them for this. Which leads me to the second point. I think you gotta lay down the ego a bit and be more self-aware to know which is your weakness and which is your strength. Yeah, I feel.
I think the faster you come to terms with your shortcomings, the faster you'll be able to cover them with someone else's strengths.
You gotta let it go.
You gotta let it go, man.
Man, I mean, coming to terms with your weakness, when's the last time anyone
Let's put it in a very practical step, right? Like, for example, we are organizing a birthday party.
Oh, boy.
Okay. And I know that my strength is not in cooking.
Why would you cook?
I could probably spend a week before the party trying to cook, with a probably like C grade dish.
Yeah, and the outcome might be
and people will be like, oh yeah, this guy, why he go do this?
Absolute
or
diarrhea.
I could be really great at decorating, and I could spend that time decorating the party.
Yeah.
And let someone else cook. Like Jemson. Jemson cooks a mean fried rice. I don't know if he does. Maybe he doesn't.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But maybe we haven't given him the opportunity to shine yet.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's why we don't know.
Oh my gosh. But that is a good direct example of if you don't let go, someone might get diarrhea.
That's right.
I think
So I was thinking about Jemson right now.
Jemson and fried rice.
Jemson, do you like fried rice?
That's how you derail thought, man.
Can you cook fried rice, Jemson? You can't.
For those who don't know, Jemson is a very single and available man.
He is sweet as sweet comes.
So capable. His strength is only that he has no weakness.
That is absolutely loco.
That is amazing. All right, back to this. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, strength versus weakness. Let's talk addressing the fact that yes, I think it's always a healthy thing to work on your weakness. But I think maybe to just put my take on it, do not expect to perfect your weakness.
Yeah, man.
I think people expect too much of it. For example, things like, oh, my weakness is I have a very short temper. I don't think it's fair for someone who is genetically wired to have a short temper to expect that you become Gandhi the next moment.
Whoa.
Right? I think when you're working on your weaknesses, a good thing to set down is, what are you expecting out of this?
Yeah.
Are you expecting to go from noob to pro?
Yeah, you can't, man.
You can't. If you can't play carry, just play support, and don't expect to carry the game when you switch hero.
Let's put that in normal layman terms.
How
about this? Football, right?
Okay.
In football, I'm not a football fan, but I know this much about football. There are positions in football.
Correct.
You've got the strikers, the midfielders, the defenders, and the goalkeeper, right? If you are really good at preventing balls from entering goals, there's a high chance you should probably play the goalkeeper
or defense
rather than the striker.
Right.
Because some people are afraid of going for the ball. They're good at evading the ball or getting the ball out of the way, but not so much getting the ball and putting it in the other goal.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the whole football team trains both facets for all. They do drills and stuff like that, right?
And here's another thing. Like teams and clubs, they trade players based on their positions. Right? They are playing their position over and over and over again.
Right.
If a defender has been playing defending for like 5 years, he's probably going to play defending his whole life. Rather than switch over to a new team and be like, you know what, today you're a striker. That doesn't make sense, because even if you made him an okay striker, he'd probably still be a great defender.
Right. I mean, that's to our knowledge.
Or goalkeeper.
I mean, that's to our knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it might happen in a very rare...
I'm sure there are some prodigy players, right?
Right. But it makes sense, people do pursue people who have honed their craft.
Yes. And I think that's what we want to also kind of talk about in the market today.
Right.
When you get older, and let's say you're a business owner and you want to get someone to bake a cake for you. Obviously, you want to get someone who specializes in baking cakes, right? Who is known for baking great cakes, rather than a kind of like chef who does everything, like fried rice, and also at the side does cakes. My money is on the guy who does specialized
That basically
cakes.
Sounds like every cafe that is closed down.
Ooh,
because they try to do too many things at one go.
It's true.
Oh my gosh. I guess, wow, it really does seem as if, the more I talk about it, the issue with strengths versus weaknesses these days isn't really about strengths versus weakness. It's a FOMO issue.
It's a FOMO issue.
Do you think it's a FOMO issue?
I want to do everything.
Yeah,
that's
I feel
almost
like,
what it's become.
Oh shucks, that person is doing well at this. I think I need to go in this.
Yeah.
And then you get distracted.
And then you find out you suck at it.
And then you get damaged because of it.
And then you get sad.
Yeah, like what was that? What was that? That saying? You can't put a goldfish in a tree and expect it to know how to climb a tree.
That's a good point, yeah.
Was it that saying?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Einstein said
I think it's something like that.
Things, right?
No, but you see, that's a great point, because the more like you be sad and spending time kind of like,
wondering why you can't climb a tree.
How come I'm not good as Jemson making fried rice? When, in all honesty, you could be spending your time having great results doing what you're already good at.
Char Kway Teow.
Right
And
that's what you should be doing.
I think, there would be a healthier outcome developing the strength of focus when it comes to strength versus weakness. Because I would honestly think you'd be wasting a lot more time. You'll be wasting a lot more time chasing weaknesses that really don't matter most of the time.
Yeah.
I think the best example is like when the cafe era boomed in our country just a while back, everyone hopped aboard the train, right? And cafes are a huge example of investment of time and money, literally, and sweat and blood and tears. Instead of focusing on making a good cup of coffee, everyone tried to figure out not just coffee.
They started selling food.
They started selling all kinds of random trendy food. They try to set up their place for Instagram shots. And I'm like, yo, look, there's nothing wrong doing all these if your team has a person who is good at all these.
Yeah.
But if you want to make a good cafe, the whole premise of it is start the coffee,
man.
Yeah. There's only one thing you need to do.
Coffee.
Get the coffee right.
That's right.
And on that basis, if we could live our lives not worrying too much about like the frills and what we are missing out on compared to someone else, we'd have the same results in our lives if we focus on the craft that we're good at. I think that's basically something that I believe in as well as a content maker today. It's very easy to get distracted with trend type content. And it's a very big temptation to like, you know what? Everyone is hopping on Fortnite. I should let go of making stories and be a Fortnite streamer. But I think there is a very big value in sticking to your guns.
Yeah.
And sticking to your guns, I mean that the more you exercise a muscle, the bigger it will grow.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The more you polish one skill, the better it will shine. And just in terms of business, if people who are taking this from a business point of point of view, sorry, I think when you establish a certain skill or strength in business first, it allows you to build a very strong foundation for a business.
Yeah.
And then after that, your ability to expand and scale into different verticals of business makes sense. Compared to like
doing everything, right?
Yeah, just starting right off the bat, like, yo, we're going to tackle the F&B and the apparel line and the this and that and boost and bash.
Yeah.
Get good at one thing first.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think in the masterclass that we did in Singapore, one thing that MingH brought up, which is a pretty good point to end this podcast on, is that everyone wants to be unique, right? Everyone wants to stand out and be different from each other, and everyone wants to be remembered for being someone else. Being different, right?
Yeah.
And what he said to kind of like answer that.
Max level FOMO, that one.
Yeah, like everyone wants, the best way to be different, the best way to stand out and be not everyone else is to be yourself.
Yeah.
Because no one is made like you, and no one has the strengths in the way that your strengths are yours, and no one has your weaknesses too. So I think if we start remembering the fact that we're all human, we're all imperfect, and that there's lots of room for improvement, not just for yourself, but for other people to come alongside you, that's a great way to live life. Because if not, you always be under this constant pressure and stress of wanting to be perfect when you obviously can't be.
Life is better when you're not doing it alone.
That's the best way to put it.
I think, okay, at the end of this, before you tunnel vision yourself into thinking that, yo, it's me and my strengths and me and my weaknesses, you always have friends.
You always have friends.
You always have people who will make up for the worst of you.
That's right.
And you will always be the better part of someone else.
That's right.
Surround yourself with the right people, and I think the right people in your life will make you a better person.
They definitely will.
And being a better person doesn't mean you have no weakness. I think it just means that your strengths start to do other people good, and other people help you deal with your weaknesses better. Simply put.
I hope this podcast has been helpful, guys. We are so happy that you guys are still tuning in, listening, and sharing it.
Let us be your strength.
Let us be your strength, man. Have a great week ahead, everyone. If you want to watch more content, we are on YouTube and Facebook. Check out the Takeaway Table. And if there's nothing else, or actually if you want us to talk about anything else, tag us on Instagram.
Tag us when you're listening in. Tell us what you think of this. don't know, tell us what you want to what you want us to talk about.
That's right. Make good decisions, guys. Until then, this has been Table Talk.